Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Captain Matt, and today we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go over and answer some questions that I've been getting on Facebook. Number one question I really want to answer in this video, since I didn't really film too much, all I did was record some key moments during our charters this past week, is what lures am I using right now? Okay, I know I made a video a couple videos back, a couple weeks ago, about what I was throwing, what I've been throwing. Things change, okay? I'm a very flexible fisherman. I'm not one-sided thinker when it comes to this. This time of year, or really any time of the year, it's about adjusting is what's gonna catch you a fish, okay? You've got to adjust. You can't just have a certain set of lures and say, this is my method of way I'm gonna fish, this is my style, this is the only thing that's gonna catch fish. Sometimes you have to be able to adjust, and because I do adjust, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all what I've been doing, okay? So first of all, I know I've mentioned this to y'all before, okay? This right here is a 1/4 ounce Texas Rattler jig head, the trout candy. I personally don't throw too much 1/4. I throw a lot of 1/16, which I will throw 1/16 in the grass. Mainly, if I'm fishing deep structure like shell or grass that's about 2.5, 3 foot, you'll catch me throwing a 1/16 jig with either the rat tails like this here, or paddle tail. But I have not been throwing this too much lately. It works. I've been catching a lot of fish, but we've been going for some bigger fish lately. And if you see me fishing in shallow water, like say 1.5 foot or less, and we're just fishing some sand pockets, you'll catch me throwing a T-Max, which is also made by Texas Rattler, okay? It's a T-Max, and you got the coastal brew bait rat tails. They just came out with these actually. Really great product. I love these lures. They last a while. They're a little pricey, but they're worth $1. And this is the kind of setup I'm throwing in the shallow water grass, potholes, that kind of stuff. I'm looking for trout or redfish. It works really good for redfish as well. Now, if you see me fishing for trout when it's on like an edge, a drop off, where I'm not in the flats anymore. If I'm not in the flats and you're seeing me fish a drop off looking for trout, you're gonna notice that I just changed to these soft dines, okay? Actually, let me use one that's a little bent up here. So this is a soft dine, I like these soft dines that have the Watkins series. They have a little bit of a rattle to them. You kind of hear that. Reason being, you throw them out there, the way it swims, okay? When you're reeling this in, for one, it makes a big vibration through the water. Bigger the bait, the bigger the vibration, the more reaction strikes you're gonna get out of vibration. It's also why you see me throwing such a big presentation. I'm using a soft plastic. I'm going 5 or 6 inches. I'm not really using the small baits because not much vibration to them. These here, they're doing this, it's jumping through the water, and as it's jumping, it's pushing wake. That's what you want. Same thing with the soft dines. The soft dine, you can work it 2 ways. You can take a rod and twitch to the side, which you'll see a couple of my casts where they're to the side, and the lure's doing this, diving like this, and it comes up with this, right? That's what it's doing. Or you can take the rod and do the slow fall, I call it the lethargic fall, where the lure jumps up and it falls back down. All you're doing is reeling, and you're twitching the rod like this slowly, and you pull the lure, and it's doing this. It twitches down a little bit, and it'll jump like this, and it'll slowly do this in the water column, and then it'll do this, and it'll go back down, right? That's been working. Yesterday was actually my on my guided trips. You'll see some fish there my customers caught. That's what they were doing. We were all doing it, and it was working the best. Also, the Paul Brown Fat Boys, okay? Paul Brown Fat Boys is another lure I've been throwing. This lure particularly actually hit me a really, really, really good trout. I'm talking the biggest trout I've ever seen in my life, okay? It hit me a really good trout. I was not successful landing it. We missed it off the net.
Ready?
But
scoop,
I'm not
scoop,
gonna
scoop.
go into
Got
details.
him?
It was lost in the nets, and long story short,
he's gone.
the way I was
man.
working the Fat Boy.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
say
It's all good.
18 inches of water, nothing more than that. I was actually working the fat boy, like how you'd work a mirror lure. I like to take these mirror lures and, you know, you're just taking that rod and just twitch, pause. You know, it's doing this. It's swimming like a diver through the water like this, and then it comes up. You know, that's kind of how I was working this year. And it was about 5:30, 5:45 when it happened, right when the sun was going down. We had like 5 or 6 minutes left of daylight. And I threw this out there working really fast and really aggressive through that grass, and it totally got smashed. So that's what I've been using. Now, to answer the question, now you guys know what I've been throwing. Oh, not to forget, I've also been throwing top water. Top water's been, you know, hit or miss. It just depends what time of day, what the conditions are doing, what the bait's doing is when I'm throwing top water. But it's been hit or miss for me. But as far as when I'm throwing this and all this stuff,
To release that fish,
it varies. You know, it's people have been asking me about what's your go-to confidence bait, and the thing is, I don't have a confidence bait. All my baits I'm confident in, but in what situation, what is my bait doing? What's my water clarity? What's the wind doing? What's the chop doing? If I'm gonna be able to throw this out there, I mean, there are certain situations where
good deal, man.
I'm not gonna throw a fat boy,
Sure.
and say chop that's 2 foot of water fighting the current downhill, trying to pull this with my rod. It's a lot of stress on the rod. I'm not getting no action. It's just heavy. I don't really throw a fat boy and stuff like that, you know. Something like that, you're gonna see me go to either the soft dime because it's a smaller presentation. It cuts through the water better. I can work it a little bit better. Or you're gonna see me throw a jig head on. In the chop, extreme chop, I'm gonna throw a jig head on because I can let it sink and it's not so much stress on my rod to where I can actually get a good presentation out of it still. Same goes for like, when am I gonna throw a top water? Top water, I'll throw it if it's calm or, okay, I'm back. The video cut out for a second. So like I was saying, the top water, I will throw it if it's flat calm and slight bit of chop, nothing too rough. You don't want to be throwing this thing in extreme chop. I just can't, I lose control of it. When it gets extremely choppy, what happens is you'll be pulling this thing, and instead of it doing the walk in the dog motion, it does this. It just jumps up and down instead of walking side to side. So that's something to consider. And then obviously if I'm throwing a weedless, like I said, I'm gonna be shallow. More likely it's probably gonna be really calm water for me to be throwing a weedless. I'm not gonna throw this in extreme chop either because it's hard to get it to sink. So that's another thing to consider. And as far as color schemes, you know, you can tell I love my pink. Pink just flashes in any color of water. You can see it. When I see the ballyhoo or those needle nose swimming around, you know, they kind of have the green bodies. I'll throw something with a green tone. You know, you see the light green on that. They're flashy like them. Even this year it's pink, but it's got that fade of yellow to green look right here in the bottom. You know, it's got something to mimic that belly because the fish is gonna be sitting down here. So you have to think about when it's coming over the top of that fish's head, that fish is gonna see the bottom first. You know, he's gonna see the color of that. If that looks natural, he's gonna probably strike at it, you know. And then same thing with these colors here, these more neutral colors, you know, they can almost pass for a mullet, you know. In the water, they look totally different. The way they look out here, you know, it's got that flash to it. It's not totally gray. It's not even gray. It's more transparent. But in the water, they look different, you know. When that's getting pulled through the water, it could almost resemble a mullet color scheme on the belly. But that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't have too much to say about this besides, like I said, when you go out there and fish, you need to adjust, you know, see what's going on, see what kind of fish you're catching for one. If you're catching all the small ones on a jig, you know, great. Catch all the small ones, get your box full, get your limits. Once you got your limits, you know, if you want to go out there and try to get you a bigger fish. If you notice that the big baits are moving, you know, you start seeing that big bait jumping like it's scared, put on a bigger bait. There's nothing wrong with pulling bigger profiles. They do work. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time up, but if y'all are interested in going out fishing with me, give me a call. I will leave my number on the top of the screen for y'all. We do offer open boat wade trips at $150 a person. Right now, we offer it during the day, during the night, during the evening, or going in through the night into the day. It doesn't really matter. I'm trying to fish around the majors and minors. That's where you're gonna get your best action for a big trout. I'm sure y'all can see the picture there. You know, this was just caught last night. We got several others. You know, we've been on them. You know, we're getting on them. The fish are there. You just got to go out there and catch them. Is the hardest part. You know, knowing where the fish are is one thing. Going out there and catching them is another thing. So, with that being said, guys, I will let y'all go. Please give me a call if you're interested in fishing, and make sure y'all share this post and like and subscribe. And other than that, take it easy, have tight lines out there, and go catch some fish.